Hi, I'm DGDino from Jinx Games, and this tutorial is about how to use load scene async additive. Let's get started. But first, I would like to thank everyone who purchased my Playmaker samples on the asset store. Also, I would like to ask if you could rate the asset and maybe give a review. Also, I would like to show you a preview on my next tutorial, and this is gonna be a Frogger game. And this will also be added to my Playmaker samples asset. And now let's start with the tutorial. It took a little bit longer than I expected to make this tutorial because I ran into some issues, and at first I thought there were some issues with some of the actions I used, so then I made the same sample in a C# script and noticed that I had the same issues. So then I decided to rebuild the sample and also show you what not to do. Now let's place some breakpoints and play this so you can see how this works. You can right click on a state and click this toggle breakpoint to set a breakpoint here. And if you click it again, it will disable this breakpoint again. And you can see on a state here, when a breakpoint is active, you have this red rectangle here, and I'm gonna place another one. And what this does is when you play the game and it reaches this state, the game will be paused, and anything inside this state is not yet activated. So everything before has been done and it stops here, and then you can unpause and then you can continue. And that's very useful for debugging. Let's play this. So first I'm loading my level, then I'm loading my player, and then I am activating my level, and then I am activating my player. And then I can choose a different level. I have only 4 now, and just activate it, and as you can see I have a different level here and also different camera position. So level 4 or level 2 and back to level 1. Okay, so let's go to the states now, and first I will explain you the issue I had. So this works fine, but this side won't work. And let me go first in here. In here I just have a send event, so it goes automatically here for working. So I'm gonna turn this off now on both, and now I need to click this myself. I can alt click this or command click, I think, but I can also do this in the inspector. And how to get these in the inspector is very simple. You just select an event and just turn on inspector, and now you can click on this to trigger. So let's play this, and I will now go to not working, and as you can see it just gets stuck here. And the reason for this is because I loaded the player, then I loaded the level, and then I wanted to activate the level, and after that I wanted to activate the player. So I first loaded the player and then level, and then I wanted to activate the level, and that is an issue. So the way you should do this, if you load multiple things before activating them, you need to activate them in the same sequence. So here I loaded first the level and then the player, and then activate level and then player. Here I did I swapped these two, so I loaded the player and then loaded the level, and this gives issues that it gets stuck here. And also in a C# script it just gets stuck. It doesn't give errors, it just doesn't do anything. So it's a Unity issue and nothing to do with these actions. I will try to find if there is a solution for this that it will at least give a failure event, but for now, just be careful that you always use the right sequence. Now for unloading, because I'm also unloading this other level. So if I load a level, I'm going to unload the other level, so the current level. I have the issue with the allow scene activation here. So when I want to unload and I have something loaded that isn't activated yet, then it gets stuck also. And if I do first the activation and then unload, then it's fine. So also if you have more things loaded, you need to activate them all and then unload. So be careful with that. Let's look now to all the states. So this one is just this send event, so it would go automatically. That's just for debugging and for the tutorial here. So you can choose to turn it on, or you can just use these two for working and not working. But let me set this back to automatic. Then when I go here, I have my set string value, and I'm gonna set my first scene. So that's going to be level 1, and here you can see it's the same scene name. And then I have this current level in an int. So I use this for the index, I will show you later on. And then I have my load level, and this is actually to reset it, so it's on 0. And then I have my load scene async. And my scene reference is scene by name and not at index. And I prefer to do this by name because if I have in the build setting a different position, here are the index numbers, and you see level 1 is index 3, so you might get issues with that. And that's why I prefer to use names. Then my load scene mode is additive, because I want to add this to this scene. Then I have allow scene activation set to false, as I don't want it to activate immediately. I want to load it first and do something, and then I want to activate it later on. Okay, so in the result I have this async operation hash, and I cannot see what's the complete word here, but anyway, this is to save the index for this load scene, so I can use this on the activate action to know which scene that is. So it's like an index number. Then I have a done event, and the done event is if you have your allow scene activation on, else it will not finish, so it will not be done. So then you can use the pending activation event, and I'm using this level loaded. You can also use an error for the scene not found or something, so but I'm sure it's there, so I didn't use this now. Then let's go to the next state, and we have the same load scene async, and also scene by name, load scene async player. That's my player here, additive, and everything is the same, except I use a different variable here for hash player. And here I had a progress, but it just works so fast, so it doesn't really matter, but you can use it if you want. Then I have again this pending, and then I'm going to the next one, and here I have the activate game object, and I'm deactivating my camera, my main camera, because I have a camera here on my main, and on all the scenes I also have cameras. So I deactivate this first and then I activate the scene. So this is my level scene that I'm activating, as this is the index from the level that is stored on the hash level, like it did. Let me see here somewhere. Yeah, here. Then yeah, the progress is also not needed, and then I have this is done bool, but I don't need it also here actually, but I do have this done event and a failure event, and when it's done it goes to the next one, and then I'm just setting the color for this background, and then I have the allow scene activation for the player. And at this moment I have to do my scene first and then my player, because my player has gravity, and if my player would be placed first it might fall down. So that are things that you have to think of when you use this. And then here I just have a listener, and that's listening to my buttons here. So load previous and a load next. Let me show you next scene is a button, and you can connect this with dropping this in, and then Playmaker FSM send event, and then put the name here for the event, and as you can see here, load previous and load next. Then if I would press the previous, I'm doing this in compare for the current level. So here's my current level now, and I'm gonna check if it's level 1. So if it's equal, it say it is lowest level already, and less than also, just for a failsafe. So if it's equal or less, then it should go back to the listener and do nothing, because there is no lower level. And if it's greater, then I'm gonna load the lower level, and I'm just doing an int add -1 on my current level, and then I do this int operator -1 here. So actually I'm doing this add -1, so actually deducting 1, and I'm gonna store this result in this load level variable. And why I do this, because of the array, because an array starts with element 0 and not with 1, and that's why I just deduct 1 for this level. It's easier like this. So my level 1 is going to be 1, and my level 4 is going to be 4, and to get it from the array I just have this -1, so level 4 will be on element 3. So that's why I use this. So I'm getting the string here for my load level scenes, and I'll show it here again. Here just a text for the load level async level 1, 2, 3, 4, and as you can see they are the same as here. And then I'm gonna set this text here on this text window, and then I'm gonna compare if my string, so if my current level string is the same as the load level string. So here I'm saving this load level string here, and here I've set this current level string. And so let me go back here. Oh, so if it's the same, if it's equal, it's gonna send this same event and gonna go here. If it's not equal, Then it's gonna set the background color to white and continue. So let me show you here the same level, and I'm just changing the color and going back to the listener, and here I just have white and also back to the listener. And that's just it to change the level in the check highest. So I'm gonna look if the highest level is 4. If it's highest, equal or greater, then it goes back to the listener, and if it's lower, it's gonna add 1. So that's just for the levels. Then if I press activate, so you can see I have this set as a global, so anytime I can press this activate, and that's why I use globals. And you can just right click, add global transitions, and place them. So that's a big advantage of globals, that you can send or trigger them anytime inside this FSM. So also I have this on a button here, the same as I showed you before, so I'm not going to show it again now. And here again, this was just for debugging, so for the working or not working, I'm going to set this on also again. And then I have my string compare, and I'm going to compare the current level string to the load level string. And if it's equal, I have this event listener, but I don't have it here. But I do have it here as a global. And this is again a nice thing here. So if you have some global things here, you can just set this listener or set this event, and you don't need to wire it. So like this part, I wanted to group it separately, so it just looks nicer also like this. Then I have here another wire and here another wire, so in performance it's the same. So I like to do this especially if I'm grouping things together. So but that's all up to you, of course. Now, so if it's equal, it goes back to the listener here, and then I can change levels again. And if it's not equal, I will have this done event, and I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna load this scene. So the scene that I selected, and I'm gonna store this hash level, so that index again, also additive, yeah, progress, we can't really see. The next is my pending activation, so the bool is also not really needed now, and is done also not. It's just to show you that you can set these. Then a done event is also empty because I have my allow scene activation turned off, so I need to use this one to continue. And then after I've loaded this and I did some stuff, then I can activate that scene and then unload the current scene. So important is first to activate everything and then unload, else you will get stuck. Once it's loaded, I have my set string value here, and I'm just gonna set this current level with this load level. So load level is the new level that was loaded, and it's gonna be set to the current level because that's the current active now. And then I have just this current level string for the text to change this one here. And then I'm setting this color to red, as it would be the same as the current and the load. So that's why I turned this back to red here. And then I have a send event here because I didn't want to put this connection. I could just do like this, finished, and then connect this, but I wanted just to use it without wire, without an arrow. And so I used the send event, and the target is self, so to this FSM here, and then I'm just sending an event listener, and I'm just sending this to this listener again, so it will go back here. And well, that is about all for this tutorial, and I'm probably gonna do some more load scene tutorials, but first I have some other things to do. So anyway, thank you for watching. If you liked the tutorial, please like the video and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. You can support my work by becoming a patron at Patreon, or donate me with PayPal, or purchase my assets on the asset store. You can find the links in the descriptions below.